Hey, so I'm working on this Avalanche here, Chevy Avalanche, I don't know, 2006, sounds right. I never looked. Well, okay, dealing with the sail panel stuff and the interior cladding. After you take out the Torx bolts all the way across and the two down below, one on each side, there are clips on the bottom portion that hold it in, but you just pull it off of those. There's double-sided tape that runs along the length of the top there where it meets the upper edge. Then once you get that off, you can start pulling off the sail panel. There's those four plastic screws on the top, and then the rest are just clips. Probably gonna break them. I did. I was trying to be careful. There's see I broke it. There's one there, but basically the whole reason I was working on this stuff to get down to this, I had to remove the lockbox also. The side saddle, whatever you call it. Well, there's the three bolts that hold it on in the back here, 1, 2, 3, just the same on this side, 1, 2, 3, and then you also pry this part off. There's clips on the bottoms of those. Just pry it up with a screwdriver. It'll eventually come off, and then you could take off the sail panel innard. In the lockbox, there is one more bolt here inside there, and then as you can see, here's where the little drain vent thing is. There's the one clip on the saddle bag. There's the two in the back. I actually broke that metal piece off the back. That's not supposed to be there. Two screws up front there, and then basically I just like pulled and wiggled it out. It came right off. Even though it doesn't seem like it will, it did. Of course, you got to remove the inner cover, the bed cover, away from there, so that you're able to pull it out. Let's see here. There's a seal that's runs on the bottom of this thing. If it's giving you trouble because you got that plastic trim panel over here, it's just clips from underneath. You just stick a screwdriver and pry down, and that whole seal will come off all in one piece. The trim panel is just those four, what would you call those? Tie down latches, 15 millimeter, 4 of them total, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and then a bunch of these little clips with the 3 little holes in them. You just stick a little screwdriver in there, pry all those out, and that plastic cover will come off after you remove that bottom weather seal off the bottom there. Now there's that weather seal that's here that runs in the channel all the way up to here. You just pull that out of this rail. Just grab it, pull it up, and it'll come all the way out this rail, all the way to the back. There'll be a clip in the front, a clip in the back that you have to take that out just to get it off of the whole panel here. But leave it in place, because that goes all the way up, all the way around. Oh, look at the mud on this thing. And just leave it in place. But the reason why I still haven't got to the reason why I had to do all this stuff, I just want to make sure you know it's not as hard or as bad as it looks like. But I had to get down to this thing to find my culprit, that inside there is crap, you know, needles, mud, dirt, whatever, and clogged up this thing all the way following the bottom all the way down, so water would come out that top hole and go inside the panel, run down. Water's not supposed to get in this area normally when everything's closed up, but it's getting in and it's going into the back seat, into the frame area down here, and then running into the back seat where it grows to be about 1.5 inches of water in the back seat area. But once it goes over 1.5 inches of water, it can go all the way to the front. and it was a complaint, oh, the front was getting wet. Well, the water was coming down here, filling up this rear passenger side area with like 1.5 inches of water. Once that gets to 1.5 inches of water, it's allowed to travel over here to the front, all the way to the front, and make it seem like, hey, we got a leak in the front here. But that wasn't the case. We looked at the sunroof, A pillar and B pillar drain holes. There's a hose in each one of these, a little drain hose in the B pillar, another drain hose that runs along the A pillar for the sunroof. But that wasn't the case. It actually ended up being all the way back here. And you know, I tried everything by cleaning all these seals out. There's actually in the bed here, which is important too, because there seems to be some puddling in the bed that was happening before. Well, I lifted this up, completely covered in mud. That drain port right there was so covered in mud that the water wasn't going anywhere in the first place. So in general, the water that's coming into the bed has made its way into this body cavity on this side, and then which just comes down here. If there was no water getting in the bed, there would be no water getting into this little area, which I don't even know what you call that area, but I know it's the top of the body bolt that holds the frame, the rear subframe onto the car. Yeah, I can't show you, it's not coming up. But if you have any water leaks coming from the rear of the car, or hey, it's in the front of the car but you can't figure out where it's coming from, number one, check this drain port that's right here at the midgate and make sure that that's all clean. There's one on each side of the truck, underneath the pack, underneath the bottom here. See, there's one right there. Make sure those are clean. And then this thing, which drains out into the wheel well, connects to this, but this has to be clean too. This is supposed to be light plastic, and it's actually heavy because there's so much sediment and whatnot in there. So just wanted to try and make it a little bit easier for y'all. Have a good time wrenching on this here avalanche